Bongani Bingwa.
Bongani Bingwa.
Starting your 7:02 day.
Did you hear Joanne Joseph's interview with EFF Deputy Leader Floyd Shivambu yesterday? She was simply masterful. Have a listen to this short clip.
Parliament's Finance Committee, of which you're a part, seems to be patently embarrassed by your behaviour. It says in a statement it's released in which it calls your actions crude. It describes your conduct as an unwarranted attack that is inconsistent with the non-racial principles necessary for a transformative agenda. In other words, you're a risk to transformation. What are you doing in Parliament, Mr. Shivambu?
Look, I was speaking to the chairperson of the Standing Committee now, and then he actually said that the statement, if you read it again, you must do that immediately.
You know what? Despite the fact that I'm an Indian woman, I can actually read. Nor do I need questions from the back room, as you suggest. I'm quoting directly from a statement, and I'll do it for you again in case you haven't understood it. It says your actions are crude. It describes your conduct as an unwarranted attack, inconsistent with the non-racial principles necessary for a transformative agenda. How do you respond to that? That is a smack in the face, Mr. Shivambu, is it not?
Joanne, be rest assured, you are not being undermined because you are an Indian woman. And even Momo is not being undermined because he's an Indian man. There is no one who has ever said that because a person is Indian cannot speak. We said that whoever leads national treasure, even if he was an African, a black African, we're going to tell him that don't undermine the African leadership that has been given specific responsibilities. Don't do everything else that the certain ministers and certain DJs are supposed to do.
Now, if you listen to that interview yesterday, Floyd Shivambu was saying he's defending what he calls the undermining of African leadership. I mean, frankly, I'm not sure which is more insulting, his denial that this is about the fact that Momoniat is Indian, or the fact that on his version or interpretation, Shivambu seems to think that the Africans he sees as being undermined have no agency. I mean, let's just remember who we are dealing with here. As Deputy Director General of Tax and Financial Sector Policy within Treasury, Ismail Momoniat holds an MSc in Economics from the University of London. He's got a BA Honours in Economics from UNISA, an MSc in Mathematics from Wits University, a BSc Honours in Mathematics from Wits, as well as a BSc from Wits University. Why would you want to send anyone else? But for Shivambu, whose crude racial chauvinism, the only possible explanation is that he is an Indian who wants to undermine African leaders who are in fact above him by taking the spotlight. Implicit is the suggestion that they are powerless to stop him. Really? So who is insulting African leadership here? You know, I invited Momoniat on this show, and he quite frankly and quite rightly only wants to speak about what really matters: the low growth of our economy, that contraction in the first quarter that was below all the predictions that economists had told us, and what that might mean for already financially stressed South Africans. He wants to talk about service to the country, how to make the country better, not this nonsense. I tell you what, Mr. Shivambu, why don't you stick to the Colin Maines of this world, or the Baba Katutuzanes? Leave this servant of the people alone. He's simply not in your league.